And in the Impact segment tonight, a reaction to this president's speech at the UN this morning. With us in New York, Gene Zeno teaches political science at Iona College. And from Washington, Cliff May, president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Mr. May, we'll begin with you. Do you think the president will be able to rally the world this time?
No, I think it's pretty challenging. My guess is that after his speech, you didn't have ambassadors from a lot of different nations coming up and giving him high fives and saying, hey, man, just tell me what I can do for you. I'll get it done. I think what I took away from the speech was not just that President Obama had a difficult time explaining the global conflict we find ourselves in, a jihad, as you correctly called it, but he still has a hard time understanding the global conflict, the jihad. And that gets to a point very relevant to what you said, and I really want to get it on the table. If we end up degrading the Islamic State, but strengthening the Islamic Republic of Iran or al-Qaeda, which are rivals to the Islamic State, this will have been a strategic blunder of immense proportions.
All right. How do you see it, Professor?
You know, I disagree. I think today we saw a president that many of us for the second term have been wanting to see. He was forceful. He was not ambivalent. He was clear to the world community that this is the #1 crisis, or cancer, as he called it, that we faced. And he was clear about what he's going to do about it. And moreover, you know, whether or not he's able to rally the world, we have to wait and see whether he's going to be effective doing that. But, you know, he was, I think, for the first time in a long time, to many of us, the president that we've been wanting to see, showing leadership and taking this as a serious issue that he's ready to confront.
All right. I'll get to you in a minute, Mr. May. I didn't have any problems with the way the speech was delivered. I thought it was too heavy on Muslim, the peaceful and all of that. But I understand why he's doing it. I mean, he wants to get as many Muslims on board fighting the good Muslims, fighting the bad Muslims is what he want to do. Now, Mr. May, you say that you don't think the world is going to rally, all right? Why? What is holding back countries like Germany, for example? That's the big offender, because we've saved their butt time and time again, Germany. All right? What's holding them back from saying, you know, what can we do?
Well, in large measure, what you've had in Europe over the past generation or two is the belief that there are no military solutions to anything, that everything can be solved by talking. So you just let people be beheaded? You just let guys cut people's heads off in front of cameras? There's no military solution, so do whatever you want, ISIS? Or leave it to the United States to take care of. The Europeans have been living under our umbrella for a very long time and expecting us to carry the weight while they go ahead with whatever they do. NATO is a shell of what it should be in terms of its military strength. And NATO is not focused on this crisis. The professor rightly says that we have a crisis, but I'd ask her to identify what that crisis is, because the crisis is not simply the Islamic State cutting the heads off of innocent people. The crisis is much larger than that. It's global jihadism, which takes a variety of forms, which the Europeans have not been able to address. And I'm not sure President Obama to this day understands that there is this global conflict being waged against America and the West, and we have not been willing to defend ourselves in an aggressive fashion.
Well, let me ask the professor. You say you are hopeful that finally President Obama has taken enough action that he is going to start to defeat this movement. Number one, why do you think it took him so long? And number two, what gives you hope?
I think it took a long time because, as we know, he was elected as an anti-war. We're going to pull out of Afghanistan. We're going to pull out of Iraq.
Right, so his theories about the world were wrong. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think his theories about the world were wrong. I think he made some missteps. I think not arming the Syrian rebels, for instance, was a big misstep on his part. I do think he's made missteps, but I don't think his theory.
I wouldn't have given the Syrian rebels the arms, because exactly what happened in Iraq would have happened to them. ISIS would have overrun them and take them. And that's not the right army, by the way. But I don't want to get into this mercenary thing tonight. But what gives you hope now that other nations are going to say, you know what, Barack Obama now, he's the terror warrior. I'm going to get right in behind him. What gives you hope?
What gives me hope is I think that you see a president, and people know he is a reluctant warrior. That is absolutely true. But they also know he has a very realistic view of what is going on. And I absolutely agree with Cliff. This is a crisis. It is a crisis not just of, ISIS or not just of al-Qaeda. This is a global terrorist threat.
But Cliff says he doesn't understand even to this day. Don't you, Mr. May? Don't you say President Obama still doesn't understand the worldwide jihad? I think that's what you said up top.
I am saying that. He doesn't understand that you have these rival jihadi groups, rival jihadi regimes. The Islamic State, ISIL, ISIS, call it what you will, is one of them. Al-Qaeda, from which it's split, is another. But the Islamic Republic of Iran also has a jihadist philosophy that's very clear in the statements of the supreme leader. It owns essentially Syria and Hezbollah, which is based in Lebanon, which seizes its foreign legion. Unless you have a strategy to fight and win against all the jihadists, what you'll end up doing is you'll put out a fire here and another one will break out here.
Yeah, the cliche is it's a whack-a-mole situation. You get one and then there's another. Last word, Professor?
What gives me hope is that we heard the president say today, it is clear that the Muslim community, the Middle Eastern community, is going to have to take control of this. They are going to have to.
But number one, they can't fight, and number two, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
With the support of the United States.
Look, when I see Turkey, for example, which is a secular Muslim country, do anything, then I'll say maybe hope is in the air. All right, good debate, guys.